Hello and welcome. I'm Peasant, and I'm going to take you on England 6 here with Keeper. This is my second go in a row. Previous one was a narrow loss, right at kind of the end game. But let's hopefully get a win this time. I don't only upload wins, but that one would have been a great win, but it was a bit of a disappointing loss. Not like I made tons of obvious mistakes, but it wasn't great. Anyway, okay. So first things first, let's have a look at a power. What have we got to think about? We've got these mountain builds. It's unfortunate we don't have because this build's going to go ahead. We're unlikely to be able to prevent any builds. Maybe there's a small possibility we could prevent builds against England at the start, but that's not going to happen. Not just now. Okay, so I still haven't really settled on any kind of big grand feeling about how to take on this matchup. I think getting the these elements here, the fire we need, and just growing as quickly as possible. I think those are probably the way. So yeah, I mean, placing our wilds tokens does give us a bit more flexibility about where we go. So yeah, we probably still want to gain sun and green if possible. And blight removal, I think, is pretty strong against England in general. We've even got a blight here, so uncanny melting fits the bill there. I'm a big fan of Fire in the Sky. Big fan. I think it's a pretty good card, but against England, probably not so useful. That fast sphere, though, gotta love it. Yeah, let's go with uncanny melting. And we are not going to get a choice about where we place this, so we're going to just plonk this in here. Just going to plonk it in there. And turn one, we're just going to go with Boon of Growing Power. I think just so that we do get to place a wilderness token somewhere. Okay, mountain builds and wetland explore. Okay, it's kind of worked out well. Uncanny melting could be something we could use early and then forget. Okay, so we're going to go with a minor power, I think, here. Yeah, I think there's a useful role potentially for all the cards we have here already. Okay, so if we use something like Guardian Serpents, that could be a good one just as a kind of one-off next turn. We could use it. We could make a sacred site in that coastal mountain. Place a beast, and beasts are I like having them around. You know, they're like an extra resource for us. Drift down's not going to have an immediate effect. I think I go Guardian Serpents here. So we can make, as Keeper, we can make a sacred site in that coastal land. We need to remember to place yeah, I think I like that. That's it's reasonable. We're only going to have 2 energy, so we're going to have to do this one first, but I think this all works out fine. We'll push this explorer into here. And now we're going to do these 2. So we're going to make a sacred site to defend in here. We like to get up to 4-2, I think. So we've got the sacred site in there. Oh, we push our Dahan, of course. Don't forget that Keeper doesn't like Dahan. That does massively make this makes this far weaker, but I think it's still okay. Sunshlies and Dahan is also worthwhile. And of course, I should probably have looked at the card first. It turns out that a second game of the trot is not necessarily the right thing. I might turn a light on. Got a bit of daylight going on in this place, so it means my lighting's a little bit funky. Oh, very dazzled. I work out what to go with. All right. So we could entice them back in. I mean, that would be a very cheap way to destroy an English town. Call of Dahan Ways is one of those cards that I love in theory, but in practice, does it really do much for me? I mean, this turn we're going to be using Guardian Serpents. I mean, we'll get if we use Call of Dahan Ways this turn, we could you know, we could make some inroads here. It feels a little bit cheeky. We're going to then be... The one problem with that is we're going to... If we spend 2 energy this turn, we're going to be stuck in a situation where we have to do this one, this option first. And actually, if we go with those 2 options, we're not going to have anywhere to place our presence. So I think just for the cost, unless we think about using this on a subsequent turn. The trouble is we've got 2 useful actions. So I think we're going to go Splendor here. I mean, it also coincidentally has nice elements. Has the day. But it means we can clear this land. I mean, it feels very suboptimal. But the main thing we're doing that's good is we're going to be able to use this double presence place next turn. And in the good order, rather than the bad order. Okay, so we can Guardian Serpents in here. Getting us defense at a beast. Then we can bring these 2 lads in. Okay, during the next normal ravage, each town does +1 damage. Ooh. Okay, and then looks like we've got add a Dahan to a jungle or wetland. Well, the trouble is we can't actually use this little combo next turn, so we're not going to be able to rely on that in here. So, yeah, let's double up. I think having doubled up Dahan is useful. Okay, and then... Nice, that's prevented that. Thing is, against England... against England, they don't really do much, unfortunately. Alas and alack. But we do have a couple of range. We could go over here. Yeah, it'd be nice to defend in here, especially as there's already Dahan. Which means that we're probably going to go with a mine. There are a lot of good options for a small defend in the minor power deck. So reasonable odds of getting one. We might want to use Sacrosanct Wilderness at some point. Let's just put this over here. Okay, so... Unfortunately, we're not... This is going to be a double build. Because we haven't generated any fear, really. I think we could afford to, you know... We could afford 1 or 2 of these double builds, but not many more than that. There's a Ravage here, and this is a bit unfortunate. Unless we get a lucky defend card, I guess we'll look at that first. I mean, there's a few things that would work. I mean, defend 4, that's good. Oh, constancy, beautiful. But this just solves a problem. It clears that land as well. Confounding Mist is also pretty... it can be useful against England. I don't know how this would proc in terms of losing to the building of London here, proud and mighty capital. Okay, so this turn we've got 4 energy to play with. We don't have any nice 0 costers. So we're probably going to be reliant on going in with wilderness tokens. It's going to be a build in here. We're not likely to be able to use our innate. So I guess and my most recent stinging defeat to England, I just ended up with hardly any presence. So I'm going to go with safe presence placement. Safer than my usual. Okay, this actually is... Yeah, this looks decent. We're going to be able to... spend a couple of energy. Oh, we've also got this. We'll relocate this guy. See, we might Spreading Wilds in here and then maybe Sacrosanct Wilderness this to make it defensible with Confounding Mists, maybe? Yeah, I think clearing the cities is probably the key here. It's so hard to win a pure terror victory against England unless you are Bringer. Okay, so we've got our defend for this. That we're just letting that one go. We could immediately clean up. We've actually got the plant here, so we would still be able to place some wilderness. We've actually got some half-decent towering wrath possibilities. So we're defending in here, letting this one go. There's a build. There's going to be a town builder in there. We're not going to get this threshold, I don't think, anyway. So let's just click it and see. Okay, we would get this, but it's only the 2 damage. But we could Towering Wrath in here to clear that. The trouble is we're then reliant on our wilderness token, which is a bit unreliable. Let's say we tried to go in here thinking about defending with guardian spirits maybe, and then there could be an explorer in there, no wilderness token. This would feel good. It would be a good way of clearing this land. But then we don't have to worry about that. I don't know, that actually seems reasonable. Or immediately yoinking this blight is good too, but I think I'm going to go with this here. And the punish... We've got one in 3 of the 4 different land types, so high odds that someone's going to explore and get punished. Let's try. Okay, so the confounding mists in here. Defend. Okay, so explorers have +1 health. Beasts each generate a fear and will move, and then add a Dahan. Nice. So my beasts are all moving. Let's bring this beast in here because this is about to be cleared. Let's bring this beast in here. And we got an extra Dahan. And they got their double build, which is unfortunate. And they did place the blight in the wetland. Damn it. Damn it all to blazes. So we can't actually... my dream of defending this next turn with Guardian Serpents is lies in tatters. Well, maybe not tatters, but it's... I mean, we could still do it if we use Towering Wrath. And this, because it's England, this is just a pain in the arse. It's also going to mean we're going to have Build Ravage as well. And we don't have any lads in here that are going to make this easy for us. We could destroy a city up here. And the nice thing with that, well, whatever we destroy, we should be in a position... we should be in a good position for preventing the double build in the wetland. But clearing this does mean we don't worry about the ravage. We are going to have to worry about the build ravage. There. We've also got to worry about this land here that's just quietly building up quite a big way. Because, yeah, losing to the escalation effect is pretty easy. So I think we are going to we're going to need to gain a major power very soon. Very, very soon. Yeah, I think we clear this so we don't have that additional problem. Okay. And... oh, this guy has an extra health. Get out of here, extra health guy. Okay, and now we can add... but this can't go in with blight, and already the island is blighted. So I mean, this would be the ideal candidate. It would have been nice to see the uncanny melting. Thinking about kind of future strategy for Keeper. If you can clear the, like, nice central lands like this. I mean, this is a power up for Towering Wrath in almost every, you know, in all but 2 of the tiles on the map. Okay. Let's this land's hopeless. It's hopeless. 5, 8. But it's very regrowable. We could just let this land go. It's a shame about all those Dahan, though. It's a shame. It's a shame. Alright. So we at least can keep placing double presence, and we want to gain a major power this time. It's in nowhere YOLO major. I would never have to resort to a YOLO major. Never. But unfortunately, we can't play. We can only. Oh no! Let's make it in here. Derp derp derp. And yeah, let's go all in on. Actually, wait a second. I'll wait until I place that. Let's see what we got. Okay, unrelenting growth. Now this is actually really good with Keeper. Well, it's good with everyone, really. It's a wonderful card. Power Storm. Have I even just got a slightly odd collection? Power Storm. What can I use immediately for my benefit? I'm actually in a mountain over here, on the coast. Power Storm does just allow all sorts of shenanigans. Bloodrack Plague is going to be impossible to get the threshold on for a while. We can actually get this threshold here, and it removes blight and gain it. I mean, this feels like the no-brainer. We could even play it with Sacrosanct. I mean, yeah, I think this is what we do. The island's going to look a bit sad by the end of this turn, though, because it's going to be a blighted island. But I think this is our best option from these. It means we can jump in power. We can even remove a little bit of blight as well. We might be in a good position to maybe Guardian Serpents as time has passed. Let's get rid of Enticing Splendor, actually. Okay, so we're going to be going with Unrelenting Growth and Sacrosanct Wilderness. So Wilderness actually going to do anything for us? It's not going to do a lot. But luckily, we've only got the one Ravage this turn. We do have a Fear card as unlikely to do anything about that, but... yeah, and because we're going to have an expensive turn, I'm just going to go with Energy. And we'll make the just go with the simple. We'll make the Sacred Site. So we'll go Growth and Wilderness. So we've got the threshold on Growth, which is a blight removal, extra Wilderness tokens, and a power card. Crikey. Alright, but we do have in the meantime, we could rescue a couple of Dahan. That might seem overly sentimental, but against England, you kind of want every advantage. I mean, yeah, and there's no profit to them dying, but having an additional Wilderness token somewhere could be good. I mean, there aren't many cards where that's going to be immediately super useful. And as there's a disease token, as we are sitting on a couple of good defend cards, I actually think I'm going to rescue these guys. Well, take them from one conflict and push them into a new one. Add a town to land with an explorer or a town. So let's... I've just realised with Sacrosanct, with that Unrelenting Growth, we could actually clear the blight from this land and then have a Sacred Site adjacent to everything. Well, almost everything. Okay, the main thing to be wary of here is creating London. So you just want to put it in there. I mean, this is such a trouble spot that I'm tempted just to put it in there. Oh, we've actually got punish those who trespass this turn. It's only a little punish, so not worth putting Unrelenting Growth somewhere for that. Yeah, let's put it in here. Each each player removes an explorer from a land with beasts, disease, or at least 2 huts. And we have the... So we do have a blight... Oh, okay. This is a big gamble. I actually really like Aid from Lesser Spirits. We are going to immediately remove a blight. And we have lots of blight removal options. And this does power us up quite significantly. Let's have a quick look at the board state. So we've got a horrible... From the point of view of blight, we've actually got a slightly horrible situation because these guys are going to... they're going to build Ravage next turn, which is a blight here and here. But the extra card, the fact we're about to jump up by 2 presents, I think it could be... I think it's worthwhile. Yeah, especially as this isn't an immediate cascade, so we are going to be on 2. We're going to be on 2 blight, then we're going to be removing one with unrelenting growth. So I think we do survive a couple of turns. Of course, with events in the game, the event could still just force us to place blight when we're not really into that. Wow, we could play this every turn. That's exciting. And lovely elements. Well, not necessarily for our innates, but I mean just in general. What are you talking about, peasant? Lovely elements. Or this, in theory, we're getting more value because it's going to cost us... In theory, it would cost us 1 a turn. A single 2 damage in Sands of Wetlands. I think Gift of Power, though, is the one. Despite its being a 0 coster. Okay, so escalation effect is making this look a little bit gross now. So we are looking down the barrel of an immediate loss if this is not coastal lands, because we've got to build and then the escalation effect to put this up to 7 and the loss. So we need to not do that. Let's not lose. And we need to prevent this from overflowing next turn. So I think we are unrelenting growth in here, even though we are going to then lose a load of that presence. So bearing in mind next turn we're going to want unrelenting growth again probably, and we want to gain a useful, probably expensive major power. Well, we're going to get to 3 actions next turn anyway. Just wondering whether to kind of double push to get to 4 actions or have an extra energy. Let's push for more actions. We get to remove that blight. Oh, we also gain a power. Jesus. Jesus. So we're going to have almost certainly 4 actions next turn. Probably won't want to use this. If we reclaim, we've got lots of useful things to help with these ravages. Now, this is just horrible. We can deal with this one pretty easily, though. But we could just be letting this one go. But we still need a major to deal with this land here, I think. None of our minor powers are going to do much about that. Confounding Mist could be useful, but... So yeah, let's gain a major power. We don't have to keep it, of course. Oh, well, these are some cards. These really are some cards that we have here. Trees and Stones kind of fits in with our elements. And it's a nice card. Defend 4, probably not going to amount to a hill of beans against England, though. And, you know, a few, like a small handful of damage. Sea monsters, on the other hand. We even have a coastal land. You know, it's going to help us in half of the board. We could start shifting our sacred sites into the interior and let sea monsters do the work. We've even already got an extra beast on the coast. How are we for the elements that we need? Water and beasts. Got a little bit of beast. I'm not going to get the threshold super easily, though. Bearing in mind, though, we're going to be gift of powering every turn for the rest of the game, so... Am I just talking myself out of a very useful Trees and Stones Trees and Stones Speak of War? I mean, Trees and Stones here is going to just salvage this land here. And we can get to a situation where we've hoovered up a lot of the blight on the island. And the trees and stones, guys. Yeah, interesting. Because if I trees and stones, say, in this coastal desert, I can actually do a couple of damage and then finish off with punish those who trespass. I think this is probably the better one for us here. If I could get the threshold a little bit more easily with sea monsters. Well, the thing is, we're inevitably we're going to get that threshold with Gift of Power giving us cards all the time. But this immediately solves a problem that Sea Monsters doesn't. But this is a problem we've already solved, right? This is actually, we have this solution. I guess this is an even better solution. Because this is a solution that will deal with the city that they're going to build before the Ravage. Yeah, and it's cheap. Sorry, Sea Monsters. Okay, what do I forget here? Probably Confounding Mists. Okay. So, Gift of Power. Should have done this first, probably. Okay. Gift of Living Energy is going to be some energy. Ooh, Rights of the Land's Rejection. See, the nice thing about that is, well, we don't have many presence placements left, but we should be able to. We can use those to position the Dahan where we want them to be no builds. So, I mean, Rights of the Land's Rejection next turn is going to save us 2 builds, which is pretty amazing. It also has Fire and Mountain on. I think the fire is particularly relevant. We need the Dahan to be in there, though. So if we were going to... if we double place presence in here, we can't double... There's a blight in there, unfortunately. Is there a way of yoinking slapping a Dahan in there? I suppose we could use trees and stones to push a Dahan into either of these, but then it won't deal with this land. But we could use it in conjunction to basically prevent us losing. I think that's pretty valuable. So we could use trees and stones, rights, and then we could just use the Guardian Serpents in here. Yeah, I think that's good. And we have a spreading wilds. Weird sticking these wilds on when they against England. Just like against anyone else, you'd be like, yes, I'm getting all these wilds out. Against England, you're like, oh. Okay, we do have 2 damage worth of punishing. I guess we can get rid of a couple of explorers in here. Okay. So we have... I think we're just letting this one go. Defending in here. Okay, the other thing to think about is we could double place our presence and get a free reclaim. Yeah, it's weird. The Unrelenting Growth. Yeah, we had one lovely turn with it. But actually... You know, we actually... These 4 cards are pretty much the ideal cards for us to play this turn. So we could just jump up to 5 and then yoink out Guardian Serpents to defend in here. And the more beats, the merrier, really. Oh, the trouble... Oh, yeah, and we're pushing into here with trees and stones. They're actually going to destroy that town as well, which is actually an unforeseen benefit. Yeah, okay, so I think we are just going to push down the track. So, our spending this turn is going to be 3, 4, 5. It's 6. We're spending 6 this turn. Well. And so we're going to be spending most of our energy. we still don't have any big kind of powerhouse, destructive powerhouse. We could forget unrelenting growth. So I think we look at a major power. What do we get? The other thing is we can actually use this turn potentially. Unlock the gates of deepest YOLO. I mean, with this this minor power up here giving us these elements, we've pretty much got, you know, we only need to find sun, which we already have from our from our tracks. I mean, this is relatively attainable. Is it just a trap though? Savage transformation is pretty nice as well. So I like these cheap mages. I'm tempted by the cheapness of Savage transformation here. Cheapness. Unlock the gates. Is this actually viable? So we're missing the beast, the air, the fire. Beast, air, fire. We're actually missing the air, so we're not going to get the threshold. That's interesting. Without the threshold, this becomes a lot less desirable, because you go from it being a something you can use in the fast phase potentially to being of some use. So I think that does really work against unlock. I mean, we will inevitably gain something with air if we're looking for a gift of power, but I think we want things that are going to have an impact now. We're not going to get the threshold and transformation. Not with our current cards either. Grant Hatred. We should get the Grant Hatred threshold this turn. And this is interesting. This is one that I very rarely use. But I think getting this ability here would be could be pretty valuable. We could use it to kind of start really working on these inner lands. So yeah, nothing feels ideal. I think we go with Grant. Get rid of Unrelenting Growth. Thanks, Unrelenting Growth. And we're going to go with the double. We want the plays, and that, of course, is basically anywhere without blight, which is we'll be duplicating. So I think maybe we hedge, so we've still got sacred sites in these lands, and then we've got this one, so we'll go with, actually let's hedge for up here, and we do get to keep something, so we'll go with the Guardian Serpents. Okay, so I think we've got ourselves a threshold on Grant Hatred. I guess Gift of Powers is amazing. And so we just got to remember to do this in the right order. So we're pushing them into there. Then we are rights rejection in there to prevent both builds that are going to want to take place in there. We're defending in here. We've actually got one more play, of course. So what blight is the most important to remove? The only place we can't remove blight is mountains. So probably removing the blight that's just been placed is actually the most important bit of blight to remove. So we'll go with regrowth from roots. We even got 5 damage in with us. That's pretty good. That's a city. A city and change. Okay. So let's do this the right way. Do this in here. Push these lads. We actually only need to push a single Dahan in there. The thing is, we're not going to be able to defend this. I mean, actually, if we grant, we might, but that'll be a waste. I think we basically want to use the Grant Hatred as a kind of slow build to take out a big land that's not ravaging. Does such a land exist? This land is probably the land we're going to think about, depending on the explore. So I think this guy's doomed, unfortunately. So I think we're going to push this one somewhere else. Yeah, let's push them in there. And then we're going to do this to invaders do not build. Oh, damn it, it's a double build. I've just noticed this is a double build because we didn't have a fear card. That is unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. That means that this is it's largely irrelevant. Oh well. Okay, rising interest in the island. Okay, this is going to be. Actually, we're not actually going to be able to do this. We don't have the air anywhere in our collection of cards, so we're going to be accelerating the game a little bit and adding a town. So yeah, we don't get a choice about that. Ooh, we're going to add another beast though. I'm liking all these beasts that are showing up. So, on a land without one. It doesn't make much odds, I suppose. We'll put it in here. And then we're getting to add a beast. We'll spread them out a little bit. Okay, and we don't have any immediate... I mean, there's so many of these wilderness tokens here. I know I can't add another one in there. It's actually making Sacrosanct Wilderness look appealing. Potentially next turn. Okay, let's just add one in somewhere else here. And it's a double build, which is really, really unfortunate because I think, unless this is coastal lands, it means we lose. I just realised. Okay, we don't lose immediately. Yeah. Awful. So yeah, we need to do something about this very soon. Otherwise that's a bit sad. And I get confused by this extra card coming in. Okay, let's remove this blight. Oh, you've got Gift of Power. We should do it first. Well, Quicken the Earth Struggles could actually be pretty good for us here. But this is a lot of Ravage. That's 16 damage worth of Ravage in there. But if we use this in conjunction with like Trees and Stones and Guardian Spirits, we could defend. But the reason why it might be good to defend is it would stop us losing. However, the build is first, so we're not going to be saved by the bell there. And it's also a damage to every single building. Still, yeah. A little bit gross. We could actually cheese around by pushing towns out of here. We could use Call to Isolation in conjunction with Trees and Stones to like just push a few towns out. It doesn't, doesn't feel great. Yeah. Might still be our best bet though. Just to prevent the instant loss. I mean, it's the only thing we've got with our cards to hand that will... Oh, actually, no, we do have a wilderness token in there. We could destroy a city. But then there's actually 2 builds there. And potentially... Oh, no, if we destroy the city, we will gain 2 fear, but we won't have a double build. Yeah, I think we go Call to Isolation here, of all things. And... the trouble with this is it's so slow that if there's an intervening Ravage, that means that you kind of all your efforts to really do a lot of damage with Grant Hatred are kind of lost. So yeah, it's interesting though. It's not a card I've used much. Our most built up land that's not imminently about to Ravage is this land here. So I think that's the one to do. This already does have a little bit of blight in it. We don't have any and we've also got this. 5 damage of trespass. We could okay, that's actually pretty relevant. Let's just do that before I forget. So we're just going to do the damage in here, I think. and we're going to take out city and explorer. That gets us a fear card. Okay, well, all of a sudden we're still going to lose. But yeah, I've got a little bit more time to deal with it. Yeah, so I think this is our best land for Grant Hatred. So we're going to do 2 damage, but that doesn't really... Yeah, this is irrelevant. And then... Oh, they have to be adjacent. Okay. Okay, let's just take that back. So actually we want to do it in here and then push them in here. Oh, actually do. We can actually get rid of an explorer in there, so we'll... Oh, 3 different... Okay. Okay, okay, fine. I know how to read. I've read several things in my time. Okay, so yeah, we're not... Grant Hatred is not gonna... It's not gonna... Doesn't work how I think. I need to sit down and think about what I've done. Okay, so we have the build here, a couple of ravages. We only have 2 blight left. We didn't... we don't have anything that's really... really great. We've actually got 3... Yeah, we were in all sorts of trouble. I mean, that's generally how it feels against England 6, even if a game's going really well. Unless you can get on top of them really early, but I don't think that's ever going to be a likelihood for Keeper. You're always going to be kind of growing to kind of meet them rather than... Okay, so, I mean, we could use the same trick here and go with the... rights of lands rejection to prevent both builds in here. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. Yeah, me not reading this has tilted me a little bit. Okay, Towering Wrath is still looking like it's offering good damage. I mean, especially on this coast. This... Okay, this is going to double... Oh, and we're also out of the escalation effects now. But we don't have a big powerhouse damage card apart from Towering Wrath. Okay, we need to start wrathing. We're going to need to reclaim, and I think we want to place that last presence. So yeah, let's make a sacred site in here. Well. So, yeah, we have... I guess the problem is we actually need new cards to deal with this situation. What have we got here? We've got a 3, 7, 8 damage ravage. So we could defend that with our existing defend cards. He says we could use Guardian Serpents. Oh, is that our... Oh, and this. But then we've got this, which will lose us the game. This Ravage on the coast, we could let that go. It wouldn't feel nice, but... Whereas this one is a 12 damage Ravage. So the largest amount of defend we can do would be some kind of... Using this, maybe this, and we don't have a Sacred Site in there, so we can't even use our Guardian Spirit, which is our main defend card. So it's something like this. We could push a couple of Dahan in, except there aren't a couple of Dahan in adjacent, and then push a couple of towns out. But that doesn't really solve the problem. So actually, we need to. We actually need to go with something. We need to draw a solution, basically. So we can't just reclaim, and we can't. We could skip this presence placement. All it's offering us is an energy. We only have one way of gaining a card. So yeah, I guess we are looking for a YOLO major for this corner in here. Now, that is a YOLO major that will save the day. Oh, this is so good against England. But we need to take this to prevent the Ravage ending our game for us. And how mountainous are we? We've got a fair amount of mountain shenanigans. We can really start hoovering up the blight. Yeah, this is good. And any Dahami yoink in there will survive. So I think this is what we have to take. Winds of Rust is very, very good. It's effectively 7 defend because it downgrades something. So it would be enough just. Except the trouble is it would be... an event could just mean there's a bit more damage and then we lose. So I think this is the the safest option. And we want to prioritize keeping our mountain cards for the sake of infinite vitality. Not so sure about Grant anymore. I always knew Grant was a bit funny, but... So maybe Uncanny Melting can go now. Because, I mean, this is amazing, because we can just hoover up the blight that's everywhere. And we are reclaiming this turn anyway, so we don't need to... That's not a factor. But Grant could be a lot of damage, you know? As weird Grant. Could be a lot of damage. We don't have another way of adding unrest. Maybe we get rid of Boon of Growing Power now. Yeah, I think we get rid of Boon of Growing Power. And we reclaim. So, we do of course have this build on the coast to worry about. We also have this problem. We have a few problems. Okay, so that on its own is enough to solve that issue. Then there's this issue, which is the builds. So we need to solve that problem too. So we can use rights to do it. We need to actually have Dahan in there. We could use Call to Isolation to push a Dahan into there. Or we could use... Actually, yeah, we've got a few options. Yeah, so we need Dahan to be in there. Well, they're going to die. That's the sad thing, but we just have to accept that. No, they're not going to immediately die. There's no Ravage in there. So it's a bit of a waste to use Trees and Stones for that. So we'll use Call to Isolation just to push a singular Dahan in there to get the double build prevention. There's no other coastal lands that are that threatening from the point of view of you know, ending our game. And then this here, we've still got 2 more plays. We could... Oh, if we use if we say use this instead, we could use Call to Isolation to make this defensible by pushing the towns into adjacent areas. Now, we don't want to push them in there because then this is kind of horrible. Getting more beasts on the board is always good. So actually, we might be better off using Trees and Stones. We could actually use Trees and Stones here to destroy a town before we push. And we don't have to push them all in there. We could actually push one back in here. Which will bring 2 more defend with it. So actually, we don't need to use Call to Isolation. We could push 1 in here, push 1 in here. So there's defend 2 in here now. Versus 8. And then we could Guardian Spirits. But it feels like we do all this wrangling, right? That's all my plays. And now I'm not really going on the offensive particularly. I suppose we will clear a lot of this. We're spending a lot of actions to... I mean, we are going to be cleaning up a lot of the board as well with the Infinite Vitality. I think this is flawed. This is a flawed plan. We might be better off just letting this land go. And, so that we can actually stick in a Towering Wrath somewhere. Whatever we do, we want to play another mounted card. The other thing is we do have a Fear card. And of course there is an event. We might get a little bit more defend here. if we go with Towering Wrath, we can't afford to trees and stones. That extra town destruction is pretty desirable. Towering Wrath, we could potentially do 6 damage and an additional 2 fear. So that's like a couple of towns. You know, it's reasonable. Especially as there's going to be... We've got an incoming Ravage. And in fact, we can actually clear this land. Crikey. I actually think letting this land go might be the way forward. Though the horrible thing is that it's then going to Ravage and then be another Ravage. But we can actually use Infinite Vitality next turn to absorb the Blight that's there and prevent the Blight. So yeah, I think we're letting this land go this turn. We're going to rights of the rights of whatever in here. We need to push a Tahan in there to do that. And our energy economy is a little bit ropey. We will be losing a sacred site somewhat unnecessarily, maybe. Round and round we go. And, you know, we could be thinking about doing this in the future, but this is not the saviour I was hoping it would be. I mean, this is Defend 4. It might be enough. But I think getting some Towering Wrath damage in as well is important. Yeah, we need to push someone in there, so our only way of doing that cheaply is Call to Isolation. Yeesh, what a mess. Plenty of opportunity for that to be wrong. We do at least have this. Where do we want to remove the Blight from? So we could remove it. Actually, the Blight doesn't really matter. I guess the only place that we don't have easy Blight removal from is mountains. So if we remove it from the mountain, it's in. That's good. Okay, we're going to call to Isolation to push... this Dahan, I think. Into here. Going to Rights of Lands Rejection to prevent the build. And we're going to Guardian Spirits in here. Okay, new species spread. This is almost always one. I'm starting to remember the event deck now a bit better. I have played a lot of Branch and Claw, but when you're not talking about it, it's like in a different bit of my brain. Yeah, but you always want to transmute if you can. I've got a lot of Moon out already, so this is going to be cheap. And we have some... Yeah, so... yeah, we're only going to have to pay 1. I'm actually going to discard a card instead of paying, I think. Because... I mean, if we... Yeah, we're going to want to reclaim next turn anyway, so yeah, let's just discard. Sorry, Grant. Just tickles me that I'm calling it Grant now. I've known a few Grants in my time. Okay, we'll stick one in there. And then we've got the unfortunate one that's going to do 2 damage to our Dahan. These guys are actually invincible. Let me just read this. They ignore damage and destruction. Okay, we'll do damage to our invincible Dahan. Each player may gather a town into a coastal land. Okay, let's not gather in there, shall we? See, as the coast is going to be building and ravaging next turn, I actually don't think I want... I don't think there's any benefit to doing that. I mean, we could prevent a city build by dragging a town into here, but then it just makes us... yeah, I think we just don't do that. And we have... So we did let that go. And the Dahan fight back. Not that it's going to matter because there's no extra damage anywhere. Okay, what have we got? Jungle and sand. Lots of wilderness tokens got removed there. Okay, so jungle and sand builds. So yeah, again, this is these are worrying. Much more damage with Towering Wrath over here, though. We do have. Wow, we've got 6 damage with Punish Those Who Trespass. That's pretty nice. So we could destroy 2 towns or a city and a town. I think still, even though you do have the worry of getting to 7 buildings, you still want to destroy the cities. Okay, so we've got a minor power to gain as well. Let's just see what we get. Elemental boon, huh? Elemental boon is very handy, but we're doing fine for our thresholds. But I still feel like we're missing the big major, the major that's going to actually clear some of this English nonsense. So I think we're going to go with boon for the sake of future major, and then we have. This is interesting. This big punish here. So it's 2 damage, 6 damage. Of course, the coast is a kind of more of a concern than in here. So it's good, especially here. This is build ravage. But do we have any other damage? And here is build ravage build in this top jungle. So maybe we focus on that. Some sort of door. Okay, so I think up here and clearing this land is the ideal. Yeah. Especially as this is a kind of threat for the next turn. I feel like the punish damage is better off down here because I have terrible Towering Wrath up there. That might be faulty logic. If I Towering Wrath in here, that's 6 damage. And if I do that, that's 12 damage. Which is 2 cities and a town. And then all of a sudden this is 2 towns, which is very easy to defend. And there's a Dahan in there. Could maybe stick a few more Dahan in there. Yeah, I think I'm going to focus up here. So 6 damage. Oh, but we're going to kill the Dahan with our Towering Wrath. We don't really want to do that. I think we do that. Okay, and then we punish in here. So 6 damage. We'll focus it in here. So yeah, that's a pretty nice bit of towering you're doing there. And now this is very defensible. Maybe not morally defensible, but physically defensible. And I think I'm going to put another wilderness in here, potentially for some sacrosanct wilderness action. Okay, so we have coastal ravages. Still a bit gross, but yeah, okay, so we need to reclaim at least reclaim infinite vitality so that we can defend in, yeah, so we can prevent the blight placement in here and yoink this blight as well. We actually have the elements here. We might not need to do a full reclaim. I mean, probably we are going to need to reclaim, or want to reclaim. Because I think we've actually got some stuff going on there that could help us. Okay, so there's a build in here which should be prevented by this disease. And of course, no escalation effect. We are running out of time. How many cities have we got on the board? Absolutely tons. We still need a major power. We still need a major power. That's the thing. Can we have a useful turn with just by grabbing infinite vitality, playing these, and then whatever mage we get? The advantage of that being that we could place our final presence as well as gaining a new power. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with gaining a major power here. Well. We've got fangs in a box here. I mean, the trouble is against England, this is a very small amount of damage. We need the big damage, and these are not the big damage cards. This is a card that I don't think I've ever used it effectively. We should easily be able to get the threshold on it. So we're replacing city... Basically, we replace buildings with dudes. And then crucially... Oh, and Dahan as well, unfortunately. But then we make them do damage to each other. This is where it might make some sense. I mean, how much damage is that really? It's kind of useful with the England loss condition. I mean, and if we get this threshold, the buildings will almost certainly... there won't be explorers leaving anywhere. Yeah, slightly unconvincing collection here. Is it time for you to shine, Vengeance of the Dead? Probably not. Probably not. If we needed the fear, maybe. Though, you know, there's always time for rap. Always. And it actually, rap does kind of solve... Potentially, I mean, it's just a useful defense card. We could use it in this coastal desert. Not most. It's a lot to pay for a defense card, but the thing is, I could use it on a subsequent turn to then move those 3 Dahan that are already in that coastal desert into say the inland desert. Oh, but then we're going to have the problem of the coastal build into jungle and sand ravage. That's actually a bit horrible. We're actually going to have these are all going to ravage next turn immediately after a build. Which does mean that defense cards are going to be even more valuable. Thing is, we can kind of currently cover these 2 lands with trees and stones. I'm pretty sure that threshold's trivial for us to get. Oh, so we can't quite. Yeah, I think this is the pick. It's not... doesn't feel like a great pick. I think we get rid of Grant. I had enough of your nonsense, Grant. Get out of here. Yeah, if we can get this... Make a sacred site in here. Okay, then we want this. We need the vitality. God damn it, we need it. And well, there is still loads of blight all over the place. So we're using trees and stones. Destroy a town, push in here. We can rapid wings that are very, very expensive to defend in here. This infinite vitality, as long as we get one more mountain, is going to look after that. So with Sacrosanct, we can actually use this to destroy a city in here, which is 2 fear. We need to make sure that we're doing well on the fear game. Otherwise, the double build, especially incoming double coastal land build. And then we've even got one more played, and have we got all the thresholds we want? We don't actually have our punish those at trespass threshold, and it's a bit pointless to go with this for this level. Is 2 damage in my lands relevant? Not especially. I think we're better off going with regrowth from roots or uncanny melting. Now, where is the blight? There's this here. No sand blight. Oh yeah, this would be a nice one to remove. And we might even relocate a sacred site there at some point. So yeah, let's go uncanny melting. Okay. Alright, so we have vitality in here. And we get to remove a blight. So we'll remove it from this mountain. And then we have trees and stones. We'll do that in here. I'm going to do 3 damage, take out this town, push these lads into here, and then... Oh, that's interesting. I didn't realise there would be 2 defence left behind. So we didn't need to wrap there. I think I am still going to wrap in there. yeah, it's a very expensive. It's a very expensive way of doing things. Okay. Oh, wait a second. Oh, because I didn't move. Okay, so I actually do, I do need to move this land. Yeah, right. Okay, because I just chose 0. It didn't actually technically move anything. Well, and then Sacrosanct Wilderness. So I think take out a city over here. I think that seems reasonable. We do get to push a Dahan. Let's push a Dahan down here. And we'll do 4 damage to take out a city. Okay. Okay, so +3 damage when in horrible. So I'm very glad I've got that extra defend there. But that's unfortunate. Okay, and then each beast destroys a explorer. Okay. Oh, so I can use a slow power now. On a turn when I'm using really weak slow powers. Damn you, game. This is going to be a shame in here. This extra 3 damage is it's going to be a shame. I wonder if there's any way anything I can do about that. Not really, I don't think. We could prevent. I don't think there's much point doing this in the slow. We may as well just do this for an extra fear, just in case our fear cards get us somewhere. Okay, skip the next normal build. Build card remains in place instead of shifting left. Okay. Each player adds an unrest in a land with or adjacent to beasts. Invaders skip their normal explore and build in lands with beasts. Well, there are a lot of beasts on the board. That's interesting. Okay, so we can at least hopefully. Yeah, so we did unrest one of these. I'm going to have to switch to... Actually, I don't think I have to. But it means I can actually see the details. Oh yeah, of course, the unrest token is removed. So yeah, we'll just destroy one. And that has got us the extra... So yeah, that extra little fear there did make a difference. And the Sound of Mountain Explore. That's a lot of building. This sand is going to build 3 times next turn. Okay, so we've got... Let's Gift of Power first. Where are we with our possible victory? So we're 4 cards away. 20 fear away from Terror 3. We are nowhere near removing all the buildings. We've been given here. That's our blight situation. We've done pretty well at hoovering up the blight. How many Dahan have we got left? We've got 4 Dahan. And this call to ferocity is going to make us more likely to do the punish. We are missing fire a lot of the time. There's no ravage next turn. God. Such a weird situation. No ravage next turn. Cycles of Tides. We could use this to create more Dahan. That seems a bit slow. But, I mean... Yeah, I think that is just a bit... That's something of a distraction. And we are kind of low on energy, so yeah, if we can go with the 0 coster, that's probably better. Adding more beasts has an appeal. I think all those beasts were a big boon for us. But I think Call to Ferocity, it's got a mountain, it's got fire. I think that's a... And then we've actually got the ability to push 2 explorers. It's not often I have that. Well, we could just go with putting even more damage on here for doing some Sacrosanct Wilderness action. Feels like that's the best use of it. Okay. I thing I like about England 6 is it's got that epic feeling that you get from soloing multiple spirits, but with just one little board. AKA, it's my code word for saying it's a slog. It's a slog. I'm suffering. Okay, so no ravage. That's interesting. Where is the... We've only got one blight left on the board. Only one blight. And again, we're still looking for our big damager. I suppose, I mean, in the absence of ravage, these aren't going to do anything for us, but Towering Wrath will. And there's going to be a triple build in here. That's intriguing. A double build in here. Okay, so yeah, we're definitely going to be reclaiming. If we can prevent this triple build, I think that's worthwhile, isn't it? So we're going to be... Especially as there's already a Dahan in here, so that's easy. And there's a double build in there. What other builds are there? Jungle and mountain. Yeah, actually, yeah, we still need an actual damage major. So we definitely reclaim this turn, because we definitely want this. Probably almost certainly want this unless we get an amazing major. So we are reclaiming. Yeah, so we're going to gain a major here. Okay, big damage is what I want. Blazing renewal. Oh boy. Well, I've just gone and hoovered up all the blight, haven't I? The peasant favourite, land thrashes, not useful now. Okay, because we've got the moon on Gift of Power sitting there, this is going to be a really easy... Well, actually, no, we're not very airy, are we? We're not the light and airy beings we'd like to think we are. We've got this air on rat, but then that's 8 of our 9 energy we have a turn. Well, maybe it's 10. But the greenery is covered as well. With Threshold, what are we talking about? Remove 2 invaders, so that's potentially 2. We're removing 2 cities. And 7 fear, and an unrest, and 3 damage. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff, but it will be all we do. And in order to get this threshold... Oh, we've got Elemental Boon, Peasant. What are you chatting about? We don't need to use Wrap. Pyroclastic Flow. Just... If you're talking just raw damage, this isn't enough raw damage. We've got 3 destroyed presence. Blazing Renewal is pretty good. Because we can kind of just go in somewhere, destroy 2 cities. I mean, to be able to destroy 2 cities is pretty good. It also means we can be really careless with our presence, which, you know, I enjoy that. Should be a relatively easy threshold for us. Especially if we're using rights. Because that's Fire Mountain. It's expensive. I think we're in a nice position if we can keep the island as unblitten as possible. So Land Thrash is out. Pyroclastic is just not enough damage. Even with Threshold. So it's either Flowers or Renewal. Renewal is going to take out 2 cities very consistently. Twisted Flowers can also take out 2 cities, but this is in the slow phase. 2 cities is basically 4 fear. This is 7 fear and an unrest. And there's a bit of damage in there as well. What about how do those elements complement the rest of what we're doing? The rest of what we're trying to achieve here? Well, those elements actually would potentially mean that Wrap is a little bit happier. Because we could gather 3 Dahan, and we are getting a bit sparse on our Dahan before we use that. The Blazing Renewal, it will be adding Sacred Sites that we could go with, help us with Towering Wrath. And it's fast, you see, that's a big difference. It's fast, and that 2 damage hits everything. Do we have any other useful damage? Oh, and we could use it in conjunction with Punish Those who Trespass. And we can use it twice without even thinking about it because we've already got 3 destroyed presents. Yeah, so the renewal in conjunction with punish those who trespass. I think that's the one. I love Twisted Flowers, Murmur Ultimatums, one of my favourite cards, but I think this is just going to be better for us. Yeah, because I think often this little bit of damage here is somewhat useless, but with this it would mean we could take out a big stack, a doom stack. Like, and it's the fast thing. Yeah, go with it. Okay, so what do we forget? Tempted to forget rap. Crikey. Yeah, the blight situation is going pretty well. Let's forget uncanny melting. But those elements aren't ones we care for that much. And we reclaim. This thinking. Right, so first things first. Let's prevent the triple build. And then... yeah, interestingly, if we plan for... think about next in a little bit. Infinite Vitality in here would mean we can yoink either of these blights. And that just kind of fixes that land. Though, if we jump in there with Blazing Renewal this turn, actually that could be a land that's kind of not a problem anymore. Potentially. Yeah, double build in here is also going to be pretty fearsome. Though there's only going to be one adjacent sacred site. If we Blazing Renewal in here, we'll be adding a sacred site adjacent to here. So maybe Towering Wrath. See, we've got the extra damage there for the threshold on Blazing Renewal. So in here could be good. We could just jump in there, and then the double build here, we could Towering Wrath. It would only be 6 damage, but that would be 2 towns. Crikey. Okay. And we do have 3 of these chaps in there, so that's 6 damage as well. Oh my. It's slightly mind-boggling. And being that we're against England, we can't really prevent builds by clearing lands, so I'm just trying to banish that thought from my head. Okay, this is actually also a double build that nearly snuck under the peasant radar. So this might be a good candidate for Blazing Renewal, though probably actually this is better next turn for Blazing Renewal. For the reason that we'll only have a single presence to place with Blazing Renewal because we've got 3 broken presents, so it wouldn't be making a sacred. I mean, that might be completely irrelevant. So yeah, we prevent the triple build. We Hulk smash somewhere with the Towering Wrath. 2 more plays. So next turn we've got Sand double Ravage. Crikey. So we definitely want to make sure we're defending well next turn. But that's fine. The defense, if we have defense cards, it will stick around. So we want to make sure that we have Dahan in one of these lands so that the defend really matters. So we could do something like Call to Ferocity to bring some Dahan over. That sun element's also going to add to the get off my lawn damage. And for our final trick, I mean, we're going to be reclaiming all anyway. I think there's no benefit to doing this. We're so tight on energy. So yeah, going for something with Sun gives us another damage for Punish Those Who Trespass, which could be good damage in here. And Sacrosanct, I mean, that's pretty good. Still not sure how I want to do this Blazing Renewal. Still don't know. And we're a little low on energy as well. If I could do something that's cheap and useful, that might be good. Where the hell are all my Dahan? Are they all... They're basically... Oh no, they're up here. So we're going to call to Frosty to bring these guys down. Though, I'm preventing the builds in here. So actually, we don't need more than one in there. We could bring this one over. This one we deal with next turn with infinite vitality. This is a problem too. Not sure there's a lot that I can do directly about that. Maybe this is the Blazing Renewal target. I think it might be, actually. I think it might be. And we could rescue this Dahan from here. Then we could yeah, I think so. Okay, fine. Let's this is an extra get off my allotment damage, so we'll go with that. Okay. Right. So this is the triple build. We prevent that. Gain of fear. And Blazing Renewal is going to push any Dahan from a land we're in. See, part of me thinks I should have gone with... no. Enough indecision. So if I bring this Dahan over here... But I could actually use this to push towns around. So if I push this town somewhere, then the double build would be much more manageable, because it would just be a town and a city rather than, you know, a town, a city and another town. So we could defend it with one of our smaller powers. So I think we do. And but we don't want to make this too awkward. I think we're going to push it into here. The other thing is Blazing Renewal does favour us for just like really massing enemies together. The trouble is we don't have yeah. Okay, so Blazing Renewal time. Yeah, I think it's in here. I think. Yeah, I think it's in here. So we can finish off both of these cities. Okay, that's another fear card. Okay, stage 2. In the single land with most invaders, push an explorer or town to each adjacent land. Intriguing. So we can make this land all of a sudden not a problem. This one's better for us because we don't want to make either of these bigger. So I think we push. Actually, we could push into here. Because we've already damaged these towns a little bit. This is actually a really good place for us to punish those who trespass. Oh, we can punish in there anyway. It'd be nice to not destroy this Dahan, though. So maybe we push from here and then push this one into here. Okay, Beast Prowl. Each beast generates a fear. Ooh, either generates a fear or moves. Amazing. All those beast placements suddenly going to cash in. I mean, that's a fear card. Not to be sniffed at. So this guy's going to move. Let's move them into this soon-to-be Hellland. And that Dahan moved as well. Okay, so fear cards. Each player removes up to 3 health of invaders from a land with disease. Well, that's a land with disease. Or an explorer. Let's remove a town. Invaders do not build in lands where Dahan outnumber buildings. Each player adds an unrest in land with Dahan. For the rest of this turn, invaders have -1 health per unrest to minimum 1. So there's no build in there. Wondering, and there's a double ravage in there. God, that's so weird. Okay. Let's put it in here on this city. Lots and lots of builds. Mountain and jungle. And we must be running low on time now. Yeah, we certainly are. Okay, so let's gift of power first. See if this is relevant. Sap could come in handy, as we've basically got a ravage in almost every land on the board. Encompassing ward is probably not the answer. Actually, encompassing ward will cover one spot. So yeah, Sap is probably still superior. The time for call to trade is over, unfortunately. Oh no, we can still call to trade. Not sure I'd want to though. Absorb Corruption has nice elements, but I think the Blight's under control. I think Sap is the only thing that's going to be useful. Okay, so next turn. Look at all this. Unbelievable. So there are... This land has 4 sacred sites, but has the least to destroy. There's a double ravage in here and in here. We have... My poor peasant brain is slowly being destroyed. We've got 6 damage with Punish Those That Trespass. We've got a couple of partially damaged towns here. This must be the best place to do damage, because we've already got partially damaged towns. So we finish off a couple of towns, and then we destroy a city. Okay, so that we don't have to worry about a double build. There isn't even a higher migration tile next turn, so we've covered that. But there is going to be a mountain build. Can't use Punish in here, of course. There's a Ravage in here. It might be nice to keep this a little bit more under control. The 6 damage would be a City and an Explorer. I actually think we don't need to put too much effort into defending this next turn. We just need to use, say, Guardian Serpents in there. But we've got Ravage into build. That always feels like a very useful one to stick some Dahan in. But I've only got the 1 Dahan there, so to gather with Call to Ferocities, that's kind of an irrelevant one. So yeah, I think the Punish is best in here. Oh, actually, in here makes a big difference too. God, going in circles. So if I destroyed 2 towns in there, we're down to a measly 4 damage Ravage, which is very deal-withable. We can even wrap to just solve that. So I think this is the best Punish. And we've got 6 damage, so that's 2 towns, so no need to do damage anywhere else. Oh, there's an unrest one there. How does that factor in? Actually, it does. I didn't even see that it was there. Yeah, so we go with this one then. We do 4 damage to this, 1 to that, and then we'll just kill an Explorer somewhere. Maybe in here, this Explorer, and then we'll do. So that should leave just 1 town, but it's a double Ravage, isn't it? But that's fine. Actually, I don't think it's made any difference at all. Okay, peasant. The main thing is the double Ravages are covered next turn, so we could use Wrap and Trees and Stones. And there is actually the other option here, a Fear and a Push. You can actually push a town out of here. Not sure there's a big benefit to that. Yes, it feels a shame that the Ravage isn't in one of these central ones. We could bring all these to Hun in. I think actually clearing this city is good. So we'll bring those in. Again, and spreading wilds. I think we've just plonked one in here. Okay, so no high immigration build this turn. We've got this that we need to deal with infinite vitality. Blazing renewal, but just for a singular disc. Where are we with cards? Okay, we're nearly at Terra 3. 2 fear off Terra 3. How many cities are on the board? Lots of cities on the board. Not much time left either. It's looking a bit ropey. If we Blazing Renewal in here... The nice thing is, if we use Infinite Vitality in here, we can kind of not worry about it for 2 turns, because we can prevent the blight going down and remove this blight. And then we don't have to think about it. We can just let this blight again. While we continue to try and find good damage cards. So we're defending in both of these. That's a 4, that's a 3. They could still, of course, it could still be unfortunate. Though we've got, we should be able to defend that very easily. So yeah, we still just looking for a big damage card. Is that really what's happening? You know, or is Towering Wrath the big damage card we've had all along and not been using enough? The thing is, it's good at it. You know, it could do 6 damage in here, but just against this English nonsense, it does feel slightly weak. Yeah, I think we look at another major. Just looking at majors. Okay, well. Okay, so this is one of the ones I'm a little bit less familiar with in general. The thing that's interesting is because they're English cities, they're kind of they deal less damage than they take to destroy. But I mean, bearing in mind that this is going to affect 2 ravages. It's a shame that I've tidied those lands up so much. And this shouldn't be too hard a threshold for us to get, given that we've got a sunshine on our track anyway. We've got a lot of sunny stuff going on. Cleansing Floods. We actually coincidentally don't really have the wetland. Indomitable Claim. Not so... So I think this is the pick. And we do have a nice big ravage here. So they would damage their own guys. Unfortunately, we've been very carefully removing our doom stacks of Englishmen. Okay, I don't think we need regrow from roots anymore. Though it is a cheap mountain card. And we reclaim. Okay. So we need to defend in these. That's a priority action. There's the Ravage build as well. This Blight Overflow, we definitely want to do something about. There's no double build shenanigans going on today, so finally right to the lands rejection gets a turn off. Cheap defend. Slightly less cheap defend. I mean, to get the instruments here, we just need Fire and Day. Would be Towering Wrath. We could use that. So we could use instruments instead of using infinite vitality here. So that would be 8 damage into adjacent areas in the Ravage. And part of me wants to know that if I place this in a double Ravage land, whether it would do the damage twice. I think it would. I think so we wouldn't want to do it in this land because we've got a nice, you know, they're going to defend and clear that. But in here it could be good. But there is a Ravage here, and that's actually a lot. That's 8 damage, which is 2 cities. And I think we'll get to choose the order that the Ravages happen in. I hope. So we could clear this land potentially with this. Okay, yeah. So we are going to do that. So we do need 1 more sunshine and 1 more fire. So that gives us 2 options. Well, we could use elemental boon, of course, but I think we need to keep on pumping the dams. So I think towering wrath is the thing. So defending in here and here. We are using instruments of ruin here. That means we just don't need to use infinite vitality, and we don't have the threshold anyway. That's assuming it works how I think it does. That would be a horrible way to lose. Okay, so we've kind of got a spare action. We could use Sacrosanct Wilderness to do 6 damage in here. Clear out those 2 towns. Yeah, I think I like that. So instruments does get its threshold. We've got 6 damage of punish those who trespass. I think we keep going. Okay, so we do this in here. So that's going to be 8 damage in adjacent areas. This is 4 damage. This is 4 damage. So we want, just because there is a decent chance that the events will add extra damage. I mean, this isn't that watertight, but we do have, you know, we've got a bit of a blight buffer. And we're hopefully going to clear this land with this Ravage. Let's see if that what pans out. And then we've got the Sacrosanct Wilderness in here. Oh, we can push this lad in here. And we'll do 6 damage. So... Oh, I hadn't even noticed that this land is ravaging. Just a bit too much for the my brain to take in. Okay. Okay, so now we just need to remove the cities. Okay, farmers seek Dahan for aid. Add a town. Next normal ravage becomes a build. Now, I've actually just set up... Yeah, I really don't want to teach them today. We've got loads of blight. So actually, in our blight pool, so this is fine. And it's a shame we'll take some damage. Buildings have -1 health. Well, I think we have to spurn them today. So 2 damage to Dahan, I guess, in here. And we have to add a blight to land at least 2 buildings. Let's add it. That doesn't really narrow it down much. We'll add it in here. And on half the boards, add a disease to a land with both Dahan and invaders. Do 2 damage to Dahan. God, this is rough. My poor Dahan. We have 2 Dahan left. Each player adds a unrest to an invader. For the rest of this turn, invaders have -1 health per unrest. So we do have another fear card. We could stick this on here. It also will help with a few kind of future ravages. Stick it on there. We might get lucky. Remove 2 explorers or a town from each land with Dahan. Then remove a city from each land with at least 2 Dahan. Okay. From each land with Dahan. Wow, okay, well there's only 2 of them, unfortunately. It's that one. The invaders ravage in the sands of mountains, then in the jungle and sands. Okay. Okay, that's unfortunate. So we are going to take We don't get to choose that ordering there. Okay. The more you know. And now we do get to choose on between these. So this one is going to get to go first. This guy's going to die anyway, but this is defended. So we've got 8 damage we can do in adjacent lands. This one should only take 1 damage to defeat. Oh, except this ravage did happen first. So it's cost me quite a lot. And I'm not bitter. So be really clear. If I say I'm not bitter, then I'm definitely not bitter. This city's going to die in the second ravage anyway. So 4. We're not actually going to prevent this build. 2, 3. Oh, all buildings have 1 less health. So they're just regular amounts of health. Not too worried about them in there. Wow. That's pretty nice. Got ourselves another fear card for next turn. And jungle wetland, but we are running low on time. We really are. Okay, so we have 1 more explore card, so we can reveal that, and then so we need to win in the fast phase. Not next turn, but the turn after. Feels so epic. Okay, let's gift of power to fear. This could be clutch. Yeah, I'm going to go with the fast fear. It could make all the difference. Okay, so next turn we have double sand builds. Wow, if we could clear, you know, it feels like we're almost there, but we might just run out of time. And we have the punish for, it's a 6 damage punish that we can split. And we have the towering wrath. Okay, so this is the biggest agglomeration that we have. So I think this is where we hit. Bearing in mind, buildings have 1 less health this turn. And this has builds and ravages and all sorts. So 6 damage remaining. We're going to focus on those cities. Okay, that's both of those cities. And yeah, we're going to focus on the fear and the buildings. Okay, so then we've got the punish. For 6 damage. Do we have any cities that we're in with? In fact, there's only this city on the board. Which is... Okay. Alright, so that's what we need to do. Is deal with this next turn. What do we have that's... Blazing Renewal can do it next turn. Okay, alright. Now I'm just going to speed up and try and get the finish. Like the video if you like the video. I noticed that people do not stick around once the victory's there. Okay. So we've got 6 damage. So this should mean we can clear... I think I want to clear this land. So we're just going to clear that land. We have 3 cards. We're going to push this one into... yeah, I think we should be good here. Because, let me just quickly double check. Yeah, we have 1 singular city. We have the Blazing Renewal. So we just need to not mess up. So I'm not going to look at any new cards. So I'm going to waste precious brain resources on that. Okay, so 1 city, let's kill it with Blazing Renewal. So we just need the fire and the mountains. That's fire and mountains. And 1 more fire. Okay, that's the Blazing Renewal. So that is going to be game. Let's just do it. So we're doing it on ourselves. We're doing it in here. And there it is. England 6 defeated. Second attempt on the trot. Yeah, that was felt pretty close until I got my blight removal engine going. Yeah, thanks so much for joining me. Yeah, if you saw any misplays, there will have been misplays. Any of these long games, you're gonna get fatigued. But yeah, feel free to point them out, especially with timestamps. I don't really have an effective memory. Certainly not goldfish levels. So, all right, until next time.